Hello, everyone. Welcome to Disney Co. in the Know podcast. Today, we are going out live again on Facebook. This is episode 21, and we are going to go through the news as we usually do. So join us. We'll go about 25 minutes worth of Disney and Universal vacation news. Disney's Epcot and Hollywood Studios opens up today, so I am joined by my guest, who I will introduce in just a minute. The Disney Co. in the Know podcast and all of the Disney Co. in the Know material, whether it be the blog, the live show, or the podcast, is sponsored by 407 and Beyond Vacation Company, Disney and Universal experts who help plan your family's perfect vacation. So all you have to do is show up, have fun, and create family memories. As always, our services are free to you. Visit us on the web at www.407vacations.com. So like I said, as I do with every podcast, I bring on one of our contributors to be a guest to help me get through this week's vacation news. And this week, I am joined by our contributor, Hannah Beal. Hannah, thanks for joining us.
Hey y'all, glad to be here.
It's
good news this week.
It's good to see you. We do have some exciting news with Epcot and Hollywood Studios opening up this week, today, in fact. And so we have some exciting news. In case folks missed us on Monday night, we do have a live show that's centered on you, the listener, and the viewer participating in a fun Disney or Universal topic. This past Monday, we talked about Epcot must-do attractions, and I counted down my 5 attractions at Epcot that you absolutely must do. You can join us Monday nights at 7:30 on Facebook Live and join in on the discussion. And in fact, this week, Hannah, you wrote an article about your top 5 Epcot attractions. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your article and what readers may see on your list?
Yes, absolutely. So I don't want to spoil the whole list. You can go check out my article on the blog, but I definitely tried to hit some of my favorite ones around the park. I know, Bruce, you said in the live show you didn't include any country pavilions,
Right.
And I did not either. I tried to pick specific rides.
Right.
I think that several of the big ones and the iconic ones hit both of our lists. I'd love to know what everybody thinks and if they agree. My top one was Soarin'. I feel like that ride just makes it's incredible. the visuals, and you feel like you're flying, and the music, it's just, the whole thing is awesome. And I tried to include some fun little facts about each of the attractions I picked. So
right, Hannah, it was a good article. I did take a look, and we had a lot of similar attractions on there. I won't give any spoilers away, so folks can go back and watch the live show to see what my top 5 were. But I have to ask you, was Living with the Land on your list?
It was on my list.
Okay, good. That is an absolute must-do for me. I guess I am giving a little bit of spoilers for my list on the live show, but I'm glad to hear that Living with the Land made the list. So.
Oh, absolutely. There are just so many cool parts to that attraction.
Yes. Totally agree. It's classic for me.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, good. Let's, with that all said, let's just discuss this week's news. So there wasn't a whole lot in terms of quantity. Obviously, last week, Lydia and I discussed the park reopenings. Annual pass holders had the opportunity to visit Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom for previews. We were not there. We chose not to go. However, you may see Disney Co. in the know in the parks and at least at Disney Springs and Universal City Walk in the upcoming week. So if you are a subscriber or fan of the show or our content, or you just want to meet up, make sure you reach out, send us a message, and we will absolutely meet up with you, of course, in a safe physical distance with our masks on, Hannah. So definitely masks on. So. But yeah, so follow us on Facebook and Instagram for some live streaming from the Disney property and Universal property, in the coming week. So I'm excited. I'll put more information on our social media and Facebook page as we get closer till. So
I am super excited to get some of that live content from the parks, get a taste of what it's like down there. So I'm excited to see what you guys bring us.
Yeah, thanks. I think it would be good to to put together some videos and live streams of what the safety and health measures are, how to go through them, what to expect when you take your family to the parks and to the resorts. So yeah, I'm looking forward to bringing that content in a safe manner. But for sure, I think it'll be helpful for folks to be able to see it instead of also just read it. So all
Absolutely.
right, let's get to the news, Hannah. That's enough of all of that. So Hannah, just today, Hollywood Studios in Epcot opens, which is particularly exciting. We now have all 4 parks open, which is the first time that all 4 parks are open in months.
Yes, it is.
It's been like 120 days or something like that. So
This is
it's
huge.
really exciting. So the both parks are open today. I have seen some wait times for Rise of the Resistance, which is doing a virtual queue system now. But I have seen the queue get 1 hour plus for the wait, which I think is expected because I think that's why Hollywood Studios sold out of capacity right away. It was for Rise of the Resistance, so that's
Yeah.
not that big of a surprise. If you follow along on social media on some of the other Disney handles, they are bringing some photos today from the parks. It looks like for the most part everybody is staying compliant with physical distancing and masks. They do kind of post the occasional gathering of people or guests that would violate the Disney health and safety standards, but it
Mhm.
doesn't seem to be the norm.
That's good. That's really good that everyone's sticking with those guidelines because following those is what's going to keep that park open for us. So,
Totally agree. The more that we all can comply with the health and safety measures, the longer the parks can stay open and not have to shut down again.
yes.
Um, so not a whole lot of news, pertaining to the reopening of those 2 parks today, other than that they are. I have seen that the entrance to Epcot has gotten a fresh coat of paint. The planters have been installed, and so the renovations of Epcot that was set to receive have continued to go. But actually,
Mhm.
one thing I didn't have on my list to talk about today, but I did see was that at the Epcot experience in the Odyssey building, which
Mhm.
is a preview center for all the things to come at Epcot, which is it's a great show. I absolutely love it. But one thing that people are noticing is that the Mary Poppins experience that was set to go in the United Kingdom Pavilion
Mhm.
and the Spaceship Earth renovations or refurbishments, or as Disney calls it, reimagineering,
Yes.
has been taken out of the Epcot experience. So that leads to some
Oh.
speculation on whether or not those projects are on hold, have they been cut, kind of what's the deal. So we don't have an answer on that other than people have made that observation today in the parks.
That's really interesting. I think that'll be something we'll want to keep our eyes on and we'll bring to everybody in the weeks to come as we hear. But having them cut from the experience hopefully just means they're on hold and that they haven't been
Yeah.
canceled altogether because I know I'm really excited for the Spaceship Earth kind of reimagineering, as you said. And
Yeah, I know. Me too. I would hate that either of those experiences were cut. So I'm
mhm.
hoping that they're just temporarily suspended, or that there's another reason why they've been taken out of the Epcot experience. So speaking of
Yeah.
all of the health and safety measures, Hannah, we have an article up today on the blog that was published today about all of the health and safety measures that Walt Disney World has implemented to keep guests safe on their vacations. And
Mhm.
before we get to that, I'm going to ask you to kind of give us some of those details. I just want to say that if you are watching this live or not, and you're rewatching this, please make sure to comment in the comment section. Ask any questions that you have. Give us any feedback that you want to tell us and be on the show. I'll pop you up on the screen, and we'll answer your question or talk about your comment. So if you're watching and you want to comment, please do so in the comment sections. We'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely.
So Hannah, can you kind of go through some of all? Can you go through some of all of the details that Disney has implemented for guest health and safety?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one of the things that Disney is doing really well is they've come up with 5 different components to make sure that they're sticking with those health and safety checks. The first is health and wellness in regards to the guests. So they've decreased those park capacities. They're, doing, you have to come in with a reservation, limiting the ticket sales and that sort of thing. All guests are required to wear masks. They're doing temperature checks. They have sanitizer stations and there's that social distancing. So
Mm-hmm.
that kind of one of the 5 prongs is all about the guests and the guidelines they need to follow in order to be in the parks. And then Disney also has a prong in regards to cleaning and disinfecting both the parks and the resorts, and especially in those really high traffic areas, making sure that they're doing the increased cleanings, extra cleanings at night, really going into detail to make sure they do the handrails and all the things that lots of people end up touching to make sure that they are
Right.
keeping those as sterile as possible.
So Hannah, before you get into a few more of the details, we do have a question from
Okay.
F.A. Ahmad. He I know you can't see this, so I'll read it to you. But
Okay.
he says, "Hello everyone." So hello, F.A.
Hi.
Ahmad. Glad you are participating in the show. He says, "Can we buy theme park tickets at the gate? Also, what are we missing at Epcot other than the fireworks?" So the short of it is no. You cannot purchase these tickets at the gate. You must buy them online. Link your tickets to your My Disney Experience account, and then make a Park Pass reservation. So you cannot do that at the gate. You need to do that online, which there is a how-to guide on how to do that on our blog. In fact, I wrote it. So click on our news section, check that out, and you can follow the step-by-step directions. Excuse me. I almost made this like an explicit rating show, and you can go through that process. But Ahmad, buy your tickets online and make your park pass that way. So okay, Hannah, continue with a few more of the details that Disney has implemented.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned the My Disney Experience app, and that brings us actually perfectly into the next of the 5 prongs, which is tech solutions. So Disney is taking the apps that we already have and know, like the My Disney Experience app, and they are adapting them so that you can access all of their safety measures, see their guidelines, get access to the menus of the restaurants that are open, and really help like limiting contact between guests and cast members. With some of those questions and guidelines and things, they're all available right on your app, and they're helping to do cashless transactions and all of that kind of stuff. So I think that
Right.
that's a super fantastic step that they're implementing to make it easier as a park goer and to make it easier on their cast members. And I'm suspecting that even as COVID kind of trails away, that they may keep some of those things on that app as far as the menus and the contactless transactions and stuff, because I'm sure that that technology is going to be really helpful for all of the park goers.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And I'll bring up two of the graphics that I used on the last show last week with the just showing the plexiglass, and this came
Hmm.
from WDWNT from the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and you can see the plexiglass dividing the queue just to keep guests, separated on those switchback queues. And then, as you were saying, the hand washing stations. So
Hmm.
this comes from the Diz, and they took this photo of these hand washing stations that are just set up around the Magic Kingdom, and I'm sure in other parks where guests can just peel off, in the walkway and wash their hands. So really being proactive with sanitizing. I have seen so many photos of, barriers on the Jungle Cruise or other attractions
Hmm.
just to keep guests away from each other and from the cast members. So,
I
um,
think that those barriers and that plexiglass are really helpful too, because sometimes when you're in the moment and you don't even know if someone's like up behind you, so having those barriers help kind of, when you can't always see how close you are to people, to making sure that that distance is being kept.
right. Excuse me. And one thing I want to say is, Disney World is open and all 4 parks are open, but you will
Hmm.
have modified experiences, and having the
Hmm.
plexiglass around ride vehicles and different barriers between cast members and guests, that's just going to happen. And that makes me think, Hannah, that F.A. Ahmed did ask, what else are we missing at Epcot? And I didn't address that. Yeah, we don't have the fireworks. From what I know right now, a lot of these stores in the country's pavilions will not be open. We also don't have the international employees coming to work in World Showcase right now. So a lot
Hmm.
of domestic employees are working in the World Showcase. So Epcot is doing some of these character cavalcades going around World Showcase,
Hmm.
limiting because of the limited character guest interaction and meet and greets. So that's
Do
also what's
you
limited.
Do you know if the restaurants are limited in some of the pavilions as well?
Yeah, so some restaurants are not opening. Some quick service ones are not opening, and then
Mhm.
they all have limited capacity. So reservations right now are key. So that's what I'm recommending to all of our clients, is that you
Definitely.
make reservations. So yeah, so Hannah, is that everything on the list of health and safety measures, or is there more?
There's a couple more things.
Go for it.
So,
Go for it.
the cast members is our fourth point that Disney has made to make sure they are discussing the training that the cast members are going through in regards to the health and safety, the increased safety protocols that they are following, and then the increased health and safety checks on the cast members, which include the temperature checks, the mask wearing, and if they're feeling ill, then they are not supposed to come into work. So just kind of releasing those guidelines so we know what the cast members are doing to help keep us safe. And the last point was that working together. So Disney is trying to be really open about their communication, which I think is fantastic because right now everything is uncertain with COVID and there's a lot of speculation. So Disney being upfront and communicating all of their guidelines right away so you know what to expect when you set foot in the parks is
Right.
fantastic. They're sharing those guidelines. And then they also made Together We Can Make This Day Incredible short film starring the little characters from the Incredibles movie, which I think is a really great way to kind of help kids understand and help Disney fans see kind of what's going on in the parks and what we need to do in order to make the day incredible and keep going to the parks. So that's their 5 points.
Right, Hannah. I think we had talked about this on a previous episode, and there is an article on our blog that shows the graphics that they have created. But I thought Disney hit a home run with this incredible theme, and
Mm-hmm.
all the different posters of all the different family members.
Mm-hmm.
And so check out our blog, look at those graphics. I think it's an incredible campaign, and I think it's really well done. So I think that's exciting, and it'll help guests, stay motivated to not only look after themselves, but more importantly, others in the park. So,
Absolutely.
so yeah. So Hannah, thanks for going through all the health and safety measures. You can check out that article on our blog at
Mm-hmm.
www.forestandvacations.com/in the know. And if you are already feeling overwhelmed, or you think that you have a friend or family member who's thinking about going to Disney or has a reservation on the books who needs a little bit of help, make sure to check us out on our website at forestandvacations.com. You can speak to a vacation planner, one of our travel agents, and we can help you book or modify your existing reservation. So our services are free. We get paid on commission, but there is no time like the present to work with a travel agent for free to help plan your Disney or Universal vacation. So, Hannah, I just felt like I had to get that plug there for the travel agency. So, um,
Absolutely.
now a story that really affected me personally is the story that came out about the AP discount.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that we've already touched on this on last week's show, but I actually went ahead and made a reservation since then. So annual pass holders in the month of September for eligible nights could save up to 40% on deluxe
Mm-hmm.
rooms, like 30% on moderates and 25 on value resorts. I went ahead and I made a reservation. I booked a week at the beach club using this discount, and I think it came to about an average of $285 a night, which is in terms if you have ever wanted to stay at the boardwalk or have stayed, or excuse me, the beach club, you know that prices typically run in between the if it's an off season, 375 plus. If it's on season, $500-600 plus. And so at
Yeah.
285, we will be there in September. So again, the offer stands that if you are a fan of the show, you'll be down there, or a fan of the company, send us a message. We'd love to meet up with you. Enjoy a Dole Whip together or some sort of Mickey bar or treat. So make sure to reach out to us. But yeah, Hannah, I was, as an annual pass holder, I saw that discount. I went on there. And there are, good discounts on moderate resorts and
Mm-hmm.
value resorts, but for that price at the beach club, it was hard not to take. So I did.
Oh, absolutely. I'm like wishing I was an annual pass holder at this point because like the deals and the discounts that you can get right now, if there's some of those like higher level resorts that you really wanted to go to but don't always, have the money to spend overnight in one of those resorts, now is the time to do it. These
Right.
deals are
If
fantastic.
you are an annual pass holder looking at this, $285 to stay at a deluxe resort like that is about the same price, or actually a little less than staying at Grand Destino Tower at Coronado Springs. It's just a little bit more than staying at Port Orleans or Coronado on a
Mm.
regular night. So that's how good the deal was. So we'll be down there. And if you're an annual pass holder looking to try to take advantage of that discount, of course, reach out to us. But it is for the month of September. And Hannah, you had said, "Oh, I wish that I was an annual pass holder."
Yeah.
Right now, they are not selling annual passes, and we don't know when that's going to come back. So I don't even know when I'm going to be able to renew. So I got to use it while I still have it.
Exactly. Take advantage of it.
Right. So, all right, excellent. Let's touch on the Universal news that we have this week. So,
All right.
just earlier this week, the Bourne Stuntacular opened. So, a new attraction over at Universal based around the Bourne movies. And so let me just read the description that Universal has for this attraction. So it says the Bourne Stuntacular is now open at Universal Studios, Florida. This stunt show leaves audiences marveling, how on earth do they do that? Through a cutting-edge fusion of stagecraft and film, you follow our hero, Jason Bourne, across 3 continents as sinister characters pursue him, hoping to bring him in. He dangles from a helicopter in Dubai. He's chased across rooftops in Tangier. He's pursued on his motorcycle through Virginia, wide range of places I guess he's going. There are fistfights, shootouts, and danger at every turn. You don't just watch it, you feel it. Forget what you know about stunt shows. Universal Orlando Resort isn't just pushing boundaries with the Bourne Stuntacular. This show is charting new territory. Brace yourself for what's next. Brace yourself for Bourne. So, it sounds exciting. I do
Yeah.
know that a few people who have seen the show, and
Mhm.
some are really liking it, really feeling immersed in the movies, and some aren't feeling it at all. And so the comparison
Interesting.
I have heard is just a really technological, high resolution, high def version of like the Indiana Jones show over at Hollywood
Mm-hmm.
Studios, but I'm anxious to get into Universal and check out this attraction.
Oh, absolutely. This will be the top thing on my list. Well, following Harry Potter, once I return. I am a huge fan of the Bourne movies.
Okay,
I mean,
okay.
watched them all growing up. I can't remember the first time I saw them. They're big fans of Bourne in our household here. So getting to like taste it in real life and live through some of the experience that stunt show sounds incredible. Especially the most recent movie that came out. There were some impressive stunts that they do in the movies, and I'd love to see them try to recreate some of that in the stage show. So I'm super pumped.
So Hannah, I have to admit, I have never seen one Bourne movie. So what's the premise? What can I expect? How many movies are there?
Yeah.
And why do you think this is a good addition then for Universal to add Bourne?
So the Bourne movies, there's 5 of them. 4 of them follow Jason Bourne, and then one of them is an offshoot starring Jeremy Renner following Aaron Cross. So Jason Bourne was part of an experimental class of kind of like super spy soldier people, and he ends up losing his memory. And so he comes to kind of on this boat in the first movie is how it starts, and he doesn't know who he is or why he has like 8 different passports with his face on them, and he's being chased by these people who are trying to bring him in because he's the last person from his like training class,
Okay.
and they're trying to bring him in. And so he's trying to figure out who he is and why these people are chasing him, and then kind
Aren't
of
we
what
all?
went wrong with, yes, exactly, what went wrong with his program. And so the first 3 movies follow his experience, and trying to stop the people who created his program. The Jeremy Renner offshoot is the 4th movie, and Jason Bourne's program failed, and so they're trying a new program, and that's what Jeremy Renner's character is a part of, is that new program, which is supposed to not have failed in the way that Treadstone did with Jason Bourne. And then the 5th movie, we go back to Jason Bourne, and it's kind of some more of those after effects, and we see some of our favorite characters return. And I think the movies are so much fun. There's a lot of action.
Okay.
It's Matt Damon. I love Matt Damon. He does a great job in the movies. They're always on TV, so if you flip on TNT, you'll probably catch one of them. But
Now,
it's
are they sequential? Do I need to watch them in order?
yes,
Okay.
you do.
Okay.
Yep. So the first one is the Born Identity, and so definitely start with that one because the characters kind of come back throughout the other ones, and that storyline of figuring out who he is really, you got to start from the beginning with him. I
Okay.
think this is going to be a great addition to Universal because I feel like Universal. A lot of their attractions are themed around movie franchises. Like I know there was the Mummy one, the Transformers ride. So this being such a big action franchise, I feel like a lot of people will be familiar with it and will love to see because some of the stunts they do in the car chases in the movies are crazy. And so seeing some of that reenacted on the stage, I think will make a lot of people like really excited just to be viewing something. And they'll
Right.
give people a break from some of the roller coasters and rides too if they need it.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. If anything, even if you're not interested in the Bourne series, I always say when it comes to shows, whether it be this one or others at Disney or Universal, if a family member wants to see it, just go in because it's a break from the Florida sun. Get some AC.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sometimes I go into a show, and sometimes I rest my eyes. So, not that
I
it's not
think that,
entertaining, but you just gotta sit in a dark place and get some AC sometimes in the middle of
yeah.
the afternoon.
Might be hard to rest your eyes with explosions
With an
and
action
gunshots and
movie.
car chases,
Yeah.
but
After reading that description, I don't think that's one that napping is going to occur. So, very good. Now, um, Hannah, the other thing about Universal that I did want to touch on is they have released a discount which gives guests 2 additional day free when they purchase a 2 day or longer ticket. So guests
wow.
have about another month to purchase this to be eligible, which is by August 13th. So if
Hmm.
you buy 2 days a ticket for 2 days or more at a Universal park, they will tack on 2 extra days in addition to that. So a pretty good deal going on at Universal. But in addition to getting 2 extra days, I think what is of equal value is that guests can use these tickets all the way through December 17th, 2021. And they have no blockout dates. So that is a deal. I don't know if Universal is feeling a lack of guests right now. Everything
Hmm.
that is shown online does not suggest that. They seem to be staying fairly busy. Everything's relative, and for now they
Hmm.
seem to be busy. But this deal to me says they want more people there, and they want more people there for 4 or more days. So
Yeah, absolutely.
a
Do they
big deal.
say, are the tickets, do they match whatever ticket you buy? So if you buy the park to park ticket, do they match you with two more park to park tickets or is
I
it only
believe so.
for,
I believe so.
wow.
Yes. So yeah, and now from what we know, the cheapest 2 day 2 park ticket can be purchased on the cheapest day because
Hmm.
prices are yielded at $234.99. And if you want Volcano Bay, it's an additional $40. So you're looking at $275. So if you did that $275 for 4 days, since they add on 2 days, that turns out to be a pretty solid deal.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, so we will definitely be checking out Universal. We have annual passes. We won't be using the this ticket offer, but I'll tell you what, this is definitely an incentive, especially not just for going now, even though COVID cases are on the rise in Florida or even plateauing, but at an extremely high level.
Hmm.
You could go ahead and take advantage of this deal and go in 2021, which is exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a deal I'm going to have to take advantage of. I have been dying to get back down to the Harry Potter parks and to do a 4 days.
You could do
And
four stuntacular shows.
hey, there we go.
So yeah, so I that's all the news I have, Hannah. So I want to end on that great discount. Do you have anything that you want to add here at the end of the show?
I don't have anything else as far as Universal, but I do have another quick bit of interesting Disney news coming at us.
Oh, go for it.
Yeah, so Disney has announced that the masks are required throughout the parks, and the only times you're allowed to have them off are if you're eating, drinking, or swimming. And apparently, some guests have been possibly taking their masks off once they're on a ride and the ride is going. And so Disney has announced that if your picture is taken while you are on a ride and you do not have your mask on, you will not get access to your pictures. And so
Okay.
I think that that is a really good incentive for people to remember to keep those masks on at all times, because even though the ride is moving and you might be socially distant from the other people in the car, it's still super important to keep those masks
Right.
on and follow those safety procedures. And so they announced a list of the rides that are participating. So not
Okay.
every ride has hopped on this train yet, but Space Mountain, Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, the Slinky Dog roller coaster, Splash Mountain, Expedition Everest, the Pirates ride, Dinosaur ride, Test Track, Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster, Frozen Ever After, and the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. So we have 12 rides that are already adopting this policy. I'm sure we will see more to come. But I think that it's fantastic that they are all kind of standing in unison and saying, if you're not going to follow our guidelines, then you're not going to have access to your pictures, because it's super important to be thinking of others while you're there.
Right. And Hannah, one thing I'll add is I know that right now Splash Mountain is kind of a hot commodity, and people are just flocking to Splash Mountain to ride it, for one of the last times as it currently exists. And if you want to know if we're a fan of the reimagining of Splash Mountain, check out our earlier episodes. Spoiler, we are. But I do know that a lot of people are trying to get on it as it exists now. And the line I saw today for Splash Mountain ride photos was a half hour. So that's how many people are trying to get their photos. So again, keep your masks on, get your photo. Don't let that be the reason why you don't get your photo.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people, like you said, the ride being reimagineered, people want to get that last photo on Splash Mountain to have that memory of Splash Mountain. And I'm sure that that's why a lot of them are taking their masks off. So I think that Disney's adopting a good policy here with, you got to keep it on if you want your pictures.
Totally agree. Totally agree. So Hannah, that was a good addition. Thanks for bringing that up. Is there anything else?
Yeah, that is all that I had.
Well, thanks for joining us. For those listening or viewing, you can catch Hannah's articles over at our blog page on our vacation site. So just visit our website, click on the More tab, and click on blog. You will find Hannah's articles there. So Hannah, thanks a lot for joining us. Stay well, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
All right, bye-bye. All right, so if you are checking us out for the first time, we go out on Thursday nights, but due to a change in our schedules, we are going out today on Wednesday. So you can catch our podcast every Thursday night. Here on Facebook, you can find us on YouTube, and if you are on the go, listen to your vacation news and find us on Apple Podcasts on iTunes. If you want to stay up to date on all Disney and Universal vacation news, check out our blog page on our blog site and read more articles from Hannah and our other contributors. And as always, if you are planning a family vacation or thinking about a family vacation, to Walt Disney World or another Disney location or Universal Orlando, reach out to us at www.forestandvacations.com. Work with one of our travel agents. We are free, and we will get you set up for your family's perfect vacation. So for now, take care, stay well, and we will see you next Monday on our live show. And make sure to follow us on Facebook for live footage from Walt Disney World next week. So guys, take care, and I'll see you next time.